Do you reckon you would ever go into boxing? Obviously, I know you had one fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
You was good at boxing, though. Coming from an MMA background.
Yeah, but I spent my whole life doing MMA now, haven't I? For me to be like 33 and then think that I'm going to win a world title in boxing, it's unrealistic.
I don't know so much, you know, because with your speed is heavyweight. You got to think in boxing.
No, I reckon I could have a couple of like big fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a big name or something.
It's that space though, isn't it? Like all these fights. So look at Jake Paul and Joshua.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who do you think's going to win that?
Oh, mate. Well, he couldn't beat me with a broken hand.
No.
So are you going to go for me to fight somebody like him?
I wouldn't mind boxing an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? I think that'd be...
I think Ngannou would be a good fight, no?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
That'd be a big fight, that.
Mate, I've got fights.
You walk him out, yeah?
100%. I mean,
I've got fights in the UFC to do first.
Tom Aspinall has just dropped a comment that completely changes how people should be looking at his future. Because for the first time, he's openly acknowledged a move that feels less like speculation and more like an exit strategy, a boxing fight with Francis Ngannou. This comes at the worst possible time for the UFC, because Aspinall is coming off an eye injury that immediately turned the MMA community against him despite medical confirmation that the damage was real and potentially dangerous.
It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out.
There's a big card you keep talking about that you want to be on, a White House card, right?
Yeah, dude.
Who do you want for that? You want Pereira?
I'd like to fight Alex Pereira at the White House. I feel like he's incredibly respectful. I feel like he's a household name in America and MMA. Everybody knows who he is. He's a champion. He's in the conversation of being one of the greatest fighters of all time. It would be a blockbuster event. I think the whole world would come out. I've beat many Brazilians over the course of my life. Either way that fight were to go, no one loses in that fight. It generates so many millions for the sport. There's just no losing when you have such high level people competing who respect each other.
When you talk about the White House and having the greatest American fighter of all time, I mean, how can you have a White House card without literally the GOAT? The GOAT.
This eye's still a little bit blurry. The other part of this eye is blurry. But the main thing that's bothering me at the minute is double vision.
When he's looking up and in, the left eye is going up and in extremely well. The right eye is kind of stopping. You see how the right eye is just not as high up as the left, and that's a restriction. So the eye wants to go and he wants to track it, but the more I do this, the more he's going to start aching in that upper inner aspect. And then what he's going to do is, if he's in a fight situation, he's not going to be dealing with it. He doesn't want the ache in the eye. And he also doesn't want to have double. So what he's going to do is tilt his head. So that's on that side. If you look at the left, which should be matching it. So you're looking across, up, 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 as much as you can. And you can see how, again, with the right eye, it's up and out, but the left eye is just not able to go as extremely up as possible.
When I got poked in the eye, obviously, and then people were like, his eye wasn't even red. Does your eye always go red when there's something wrong, or is that?
You can absolutely lose your vision without having a painful red eye. So you don't need a red eye to have blurred vision at all. So no.
Yeah. So how long till I can train properly, spar?
It's a long road ahead, but the prognosis is guarded at the moment. I would recommend that you wouldn't fight until your double vision's resolved.
Tom Aspinall went to the doctors, and the doctors has confirmed that he's got some issues with his eyeballs. He's got some soft tissue damage to the eyeballs, and that will happen when a 6'6" Frenchman sticks both of his fingers knuckle deep into your eyeballs, okay? So that's not surprising. But what is surprising is that he has something called Brown syndrome, which basically is where the eyes aren't moving in tandem with one another. So therefore, the eyes, which are basically cameras, right, for your brain, as in case you don't know, they're seeing different images. And when you see different images, you see double, or maybe sometimes the brain cuts out one of the images so that it doesn't get confusing and you don't get headaches and stuff like that. And then, of course, when you're only seeing through one eye, you have problems with depth perception.
Think about Dana White saying Tom didn't continue.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so.
And then also, who gives it to eye pokes?
Who gives it?
Well, listen, I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there and fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see. I know, as an MMA fighter, look, things are going to happen in the fight that compromise you. Go back and watch my fight with Arlovski. At the end of the first round, he punched me right in the eyeball.
Final 20 seconds of the first round. Oh! Kick right from Arlovski.
For the rest of that fight, I couldn't see him out that eye. That's fine. If you get punched or kicked in the eye, that's fine. But if you get a double eye poked, in both eyes and you've got no vision because of a foul, why should I carry on so some dummy can look and say, oh yeah, Tom just got knocked out? Because I ain't going to fight if I can't see anything because of a foul.
Instead of support, the narrative flipped overnight, with fans accusing him of quitting and fighters openly questioning his toughness. Even Dana White framed the situation as Aspinall choosing not to continue, which only amplified the backlash. At the same time, John Jones, who had spent over a year silent, while Aspinall waited for a title unification, suddenly became very vocal, mocking the situation and taking shots once the fight was off the table.
I feel as Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony.
When you look at people talking shit online of like, oh, you know, he's ducking this guy or he's dodging this guy, they haven't seen the work that you've done in the past and how dominant you've been. We know you're not ducking this guy. I mean, talk to me about what you saw in his fight with Ngannou. I mean, because Ngannou looked like he was controlling the fight.
With Cyril Gane?
Yeah.
I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. Beautiful 1-2. That's really about it. He couldn't touch Cyril Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him.
That jab.
He busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out and he took it. He needs to change his game plan.
When Tom gets hurt, he's like immediately incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you poke my eye.
He never tried to look. It was rag on the eye immediately.
Dude,
he doesn't have the dog in him.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall respond to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever he wants.
Bully Aspinall has finally come out. Tom Aspinall is showing he doesn't care about the UFC and the UFC fans who have been giving him shit for a long time.
He's going at the fans, he's going at Dana White, and he's going at Cyril Gane.
Let's go over what he said. Cyril Gane is a cheater. He goes into fights looking to eye poke, back of the head shots. He even said John Jones, before he fought Cyril Gane, called him a cheater as well. Then he says he's pissed off with Dana White, and he's also said he's got Brown syndrome, which is a pretty serious eye condition, which may involve surgery. He's not training right now. He just wants to get his eyes back to 100%.
And you know what? It's all warranted. Dana White, very unnecessary comments after that fight.
You know, he's very much been the nice guy, the polite Englishman, the gentleman. Now, he doesn't care. The gloves are off, and this Tom Aspinall's going to self-ice, and dare I say, he's going to knock out Cyril Gane. He's coming in with a vengeance in the rematch.
So for Tom, unfortunately, and even his dad said this, he's like, Tom has 3 fights left on his contract, and then we're going to get a boxing super fight. We're out of here. Because think about it. Let's say he beats Cyril Gane, right? So we're never seeing that again. Who else would you pay to see him fight? Now it's going to be free on...
Only John Jones, only.
Yeah, so he has 3 fights left. So you're going to get Cyril Gane. He'll get the winner of Alex John, which happened at the White House. And then maybe fight if he loses that, which he will if it's John. If he were to lose that, he fights the loser of John versus Alex. Those are your 3 fights from Tom. And then you go to box, because let's say he re-signed for 6 fights. Who are you going to watch him fight? Volkov, or he beat him.
Are you
Pavlich, or he beat him.
Yeah.
Curtis Blades, beat him.
Yeah.
Almeida, he doesn't deserve to be in the top 5. Acosta, those top fucking, besides Curtis Blades, 2 through 15 aren't even in the top 25 of this 2015. So for Tom, he was born at the wrong fucking time.
Some reporters think that because I think that he should box because it's more money, that affected him in the fight. I've never heard as much as people saying what I say affects Tom in a fight. I say loads of things to loads of people. People who are around me all the time know that. Boxers are around me all the time. It's just because of the money. And it's the back to, if your son was a fighter, would you sooner fight for a ton of money or not a ton of money? It's a no-brainer, but people still have a narrative of what a fight is.
Does Tom want to go into the boxing world and maybe fight a Tyson Fury, maybe fight a Deontay Wilder?
I don't know if he does, but I think if you get into that top percentage of the sport, the UFC do not pay anywhere near as much as the boxing does. And I know, being around Tom every day, that when he spars good boxers, he spars good. So I think he'd do really well against a real high-class boxer.
With Zuffa boxing under Dana White's leadership, do you think there could be an eventual crossover where you get a massive super fight that could be on a Netflix?
It doesn't depend on me, that depends on Dana White White, but I think Tom has the ability, because I've seen him box at the highest level against some real good guys, that he could be at that level.
That context matters because Aspinall hasn't responded emotionally, he's responded strategically. He's acknowledged he has 3 fights left on his UFC deal. He's confirmed that boxing is appealing, and he's named Francis Ngannou the exact fighter who already proved that walking away from the UFC doesn't kill your value, it multiplies it. From Aspinall's perspective, the appeal is obvious.
You and Ngannou, for me, that right now is the fight to make.
I'm not sure on his circumstances. I know that he didn't have the best relationship with the UFC.
He's late 30s, you are in your prime. How you guys match up?
I like it. I like the fight. I think that he's very, very dangerous. But man, this is MMA. Well, you never know until you get in there, so I'll fight anybody.
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy.
And what about Francis Ngannou? You having him? You want some?
The day that I start ducking out of fights and turning opponents down and stuff like that is the day that I'm going to retire. I'll fight anyone, I'll fight anytime, and I'll fight anywhere. Never turn down a fight in my life, never will. The day that I start thinking about turning down fights is the day that I'll retire. So to answer the question, whoever they want me to fight is who I'm going to fight.
Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real...
The heavyweight division has stalled, the title situation has been chaotic, and loyalty hasn't translated into security. Boxing offers shorter careers, higher guarantees, and far more control over risk versus reward. A fight with Ngannou wouldn't be about legacy, it would be about leverage. And that's why this moment feels important. Aspinall isn't threatening anyone, he isn't ranting, he's simply making it clear that he's not going to sit still while his career gets dictated by delays, politics, or narratives. Whether the UFC wants to admit it or not, when a fighter at Aspinall's level starts talking like this, it usually means one thing: